Have you ever been watching a youth soccer game and just wondered what really makes the difference for those players out on the field? Beyond the fancy footwork or the final score. Well, that's exactly what we're going to get into. We're going to explore how the entire North Toronto soccer community, and that means players, parents, coaches, all of us, can work together to create the absolute best environment for our kids to really thrive in. All right, let's jump in. This right here, this is the shared vision of North Toronto soccer. It's kind of like our North Star. And it's so simple but so powerful. As many as possible, that's all about making sure everyone gets a chance to play, for as long as possible. I mean, that's the dream, right? To create a lifelong love for the game. And in the best environment possible? Well, that's the big one. That's the piece of the puzzle we're going to unpack together today.
So let's think of that vision as our destination on a map. It's where we all want to end up. But, like any big journey, there are going to be some bumps and obstacles along the way. And maybe the biggest one, the first one we all have to face, isn't another team or a difficult practice. It's something that's happening inside every single player's head.
And that first major obstacle is a player's relationship with making mistakes. Seriously, how they see failure, it's like a key that can either lock up all their potential or completely unlock it. So the real question is, how do we help them find the right key? Let me just ask you this directly. What do you think is the single biggest thing holding a young player back? Is it their technical skill, their speed, maybe their size? I mean, sure, those things all play a part, but the real barrier, it's invisible. And honestly, it's way more powerful than any of those things. And the answer is the fear of making a mistake. Now just look at this quote from Kevin De Bruyne, one of the most creative players in the world. This guy doesn't just accept mistakes, he actively seeks them out. When I make a mistake, I try to do it twice more. Why would he do that? Because he gets it. He understands that mistakes aren't failures. They're just attempts. They're data. They're how you figure out how to get it right. Just imagine if our young players had that mindset. How would that change everything? Okay, so understanding that it's okay to make mistakes, that's one thing. But what does it actually feel like in the moment, when you're in the middle of it? That feeling, that's the terrain of our journey. It's the ground we all have to cover to get from where we are to where we want to be. Think about learning any new skill. We all start over here on the left, in the land of not knowing. And the goal is to get all the way over to the sunny shores of knowing. But here's the thing. All the real growth, all the magic, it happens in that messy, uncertain, kind of confusing space right in the middle. And that space, well, it's not supposed to feel comfortable. That gap has a name. It's called the learning space. And this right here is the absolute heart of it. The main feeling you have when you're deep in the learning space is frustration. That feeling of, I just can't get this, that is the feeling of learning. If we can just help our players see that frustration isn't a stop sign, but actually proof that their brain is growing and making new connections, then they'll push through instead of giving up. And this is the key to building resilience. It isn't measured by how quickly a player gets from not knowing to knowing. Real, true resilience, it's measured by how long you can stand to be in that uncomfortable, frustrating learning space. The longer a player can stay in there, trying, failing, trying again, the deeper the learning goes and the stronger they become. Of course, players aren't navigating this tricky terrain all by themselves. They have guides. And that brings us to the absolutely crucial role of parents and supporters. So how can you, as a guide, help your player build that tolerance for frustration and stay in the learning space? Well, the best way might not be what you think it is. Just let this idea sink in for a second. Our instinct as parents, as caregivers, is to rescue, to solve problems, to make things better. We see our kids struggling, and we just want to jump in and fix it for them. But when we do too much, we might actually be stealing their chance to prove to themselves that they can handle it. We're stealing the very experience that builds real self-esteem. So what does not fixing it actually look like? Here's a super simple playbook. Let's say you're halfway to a game and your player panics. Oh no, I forgot my cleats. Step 1, a problem is presented, okay. Step 2, don't fix it. Your gut reaction is to turn the car around, call someone, solve it. Just resist. Step 3, give the problem back to them. You could say something like, wow, that's a tough spot. What do you think your options are? And finally, step 4, let them solve it. Maybe they borrow a friend's cleats, maybe they talk to the coach, maybe they just learn a tough lesson. But whatever happens, they owned it, and they learn they are capable. See, by giving players the space to solve their own problems, we empower them to forge their own tools.
that inner strength they're going to need for challenges on the field and, let's be honest, everywhere else in life. And that strength is really built on two core ideas. The first tool is discipline. But let's redefine that word for a second. Forget punishment. Discipline is actually the strongest form of self-love. It's about ignoring the easy thing you want right now for the better thing you want later. It's the you of today honoring the promises you made to the you of the future. And the second tool is confidence. And just like discipline, where it comes from might surprise you. Confidence isn't some magical feeling you just wait to have. It's the result of something you do. At its very heart, confidence is action. It's the simple, brave willingness to just try. Every attempt, whether it works or not, builds that foundation of self-trust. Okay, so we've talked about the player's mindset, the parent's role as a guide, and these internal tools of discipline and confidence. Now let's zoom out and see how all of these pieces come together to build that united community we're all aiming for.
This right here, this is what that best environment actually looks like in action. It's a community where players aren't afraid to try that new move because they know making a mistake is part of the process. It's where parents on the sideline empower their kids instead of shouting instructions. It's where the entire community understands that when you see frustration, what you're really seeing is learning. This isn't just about making better soccer players, it's about raising resilient, confident, and independent young people. And this brings us right back to our destination. That best environment possible, it's not created by perfect fields or a bunch of trophies. It's created by us, all of us. It's built on a shared culture of psychological safety and empowerment. And when we build that environment, everything else follows. More kids want to play, and they want to keep playing for a long, long time.
You know, this isn't up to one person or one coach. It's really up to all of us. Every single member of the North Toronto soccer community has a part to play in this. So the final question is for you to take with you. Whether you're a player stepping into that learning space, a parent choosing to guide instead of rescue, or a supporter on the sidelines cheering for the effort, how will you help build this environment?